The year is 1911. You travel from your home in New York to Belfast, Ireland, to see what 100,000 other people are waiting to see. You approach the dock, straighten your suit and your cap, and gaze upon what your budding empire has built. 883 feet long, covered in grease and tallow, a ship was ready to be launched. 2 loud explosions are heard, signaling the start, and the ship begins to slide into the ocean. Crack! The ship breaks through the wood, holding onto the dock. Someone in the crowd screams, "She's gone!" 62 seconds goes by until the entire length of the boat is in the water. Cheering from all ensues as the ship is now maneuvered for the rest of the building process. You hear someone say, "Where's the champagne bottle? The pizzazz? Don't they know this is bad luck?" You turn to them and say, "We at the White Star Line don't believe in ship christenings. We don't need luck. This ship, unsinkable." So welcome to InfoDump. We hope you enjoyed that cold open about the official launch of the Titanic. As you can tell, today we'll be talking about the Titanic, the ship, not the movie.
Wait, the ship?
Yeah. I did like 6 hours on it yesterday.
Maddie, I wrote about the movie. You're joking, right?
Okay, wait. We can fix this.
Okay.
We can reframe.
Okay. I gotta look at my notes now.
Welcome to InfoDump. As you can tell, today we'll be talking about the Titanic. Woo! And today is a double feature. We'll be talking about both the ship and the movie. All right. See, now it sounds like we planned it.
It's perfect.
I'll chop it up in post. Okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah. That might be the new intro.
I have to start with, the story at the beginning is written from the perspective of a pretty interesting person. One of the investors of the Titanic, who fell ill just before it launched, so he was saved. Which is actually like a whole conspiracy, and people are like, "Oh, this guy, he wanted to kill his rivals." And it's been debunked 1,000,002 times, but I still gotta tell you about it, because it's fucking wild.
We also didn't mention the callback at all about the ship christening. We need to talk about that for a second. If you guys have been watching us for a little bit, that was a direct callback to one of our last episodes. And if you don't know what we're talking about ship christening, you gotta go take a look.
Yeah.
Or listen, I guess.
Right? It's a lot of boat background for you.
Yeah.
I should have went into like a map of the boat.
Oh, but you should. Because I kind of talk about, in my part, I kind of have some information about the actual set and stuff.
Right, because all I got, you got the bow, which is the front, and then you got the stern, which is the back. You got the poop deck, which is the raised portion
of the stern.
I
should watch that clip of us say the poop deck maybe 100 times, so I know exactly what the poop deck is. I don't think I'll ever forget what that is.
Good. And then you've got your captain's quarters, and then you've got your stores in the front of the ship. Usually, where the point is, they'll cut off a little bit and put stores in there. Or if it's multi-layered, older ships will have that'll be the prisoner area.
This is where in post you add the images of it.
Yeah.
You can see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and so then you've got the mast, which is what they stand on. What they erect. Now, anyway. Now I'm just thinking of that Superstore bit that Dina's like, "And your mast? Impressive." And anyway, Superstore's been coming up a lot in my daily life, so it's only fitting.
It's alright, I'm Jonah. It's okay.
Yeah, you are.
So it works out.
Yeah. The only reason I know boat anatomy is because of that book.
Boat Anatomy?
Yeah.
That TV show where they dissect boats?
Yeah. Boats Anatomy?
Anatomy?
Where all of the doctors are boats and they fall in love.
Yes.
And there's like drama.
McSteamy.
Yes. Okay.
Rip Eric Dane. We love you. Just kidding.
Dane. He created the Dane dog.
Yeah, he did.
The Dane.
Yeah.
I love myself a Great Dane.
Great Dane.
I know Great Dane. His name was Elfie, I believe. which very fitting.
Yeah.
He was deaf and blind.
My dog was deaf.
Many albinos experience those.
Yeah.
Those. I don't want to say symptoms.
Those things.
Yeah, those ailments.
Yes. Those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So in other words,
remember when we were talking about boats?
Boats.
Yeah.
So long story short, I know about boat anatomy because of
Boats anatomy is great.
You gotta Photoshop that.
No, I'm gonna make that. It's a boat with a fucking stethoscope. No, that's great. No, it's actually a boat and scrubs.
Yes.
Yeah. Scrubs?
Yeah. The book Dead in the Water, which is a bad book. Don't read it.
Oh.
Actually, it's a really good book until you get to the last 30 pages, and then I would recommend setting it on fire.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's the most infuriating.
I've never heard this book.
Basically, it was a book that a coworker gave me, and
yes, I do actually remember you telling me this.
Yeah,
story.
and basically, the spoilers for Dead in the Water, but it's a wild book. Basically, they're in the boat, and there's like this curse, and then this one guy is like, "Oh, I gotta solve the curse," and he's working with a prisoner on the boat that like also knows how to solve the curse, and then like so people are like getting killed off, and these crazy things are happening, and like everything's going wild, and then like they like land on an island and they shipwreck, and then like there's one girl who just went fucking ape shit and tied everyone to like posts and then started lighting people on fire one by one. And when they started getting to the first person, there was one girl in the back who was like a main character who was just like, wait, it's all been a ruse. Me and my brother Sammy, the prisoner, have been putting this all together because one of these people on this boat killed our father, and so we made you all think that there was a curse, and don't worry, everything's okay. And then the main character who was helping them try and figure out the curse, finding out that they were actually the cause of all this weird shit happening, that it was just them fucking around, he was like, hey, you guys got an extra spot on your team? And then they traveled the world and just pulled fucking schemes to right wrongs that people did. They just avenged their dead fathers.
Oh, okay.
Sure. It was wild. Absurd. I was told, this is a great book, you should read it. And then I handed it back to the kid and I was like, this was the worst book I ever read. And he said, no, I know. I didn't want to tell you about the ending because the whole thing is really good, but the ending's so bad, I know.
Oh my God. That's like that trope of like, it was all a dream or it was a book or whatever. Like certain times that is okay. But like, if I've heard it 400 times now, I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
it's like, oh, it was all just a plot. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it would be different if there was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Like, but it's a cop-out.
Yeah.
When there's no foreshadowing, it's a cop-out. So now we're going to talk about foreshadowing the Titanic movie. Anyway. So
if you haven't caught on, we actually, that whole beginning was a bit. So obviously Maddie's going to talk about the Titanic.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about the movie in a different episode.
Yeah.
It'll be two-parter.
It's two-parter. We didn't make it two parts because we messed up. No, I'm kidding. All right. So the story that I opened with is written from the perspective of a pretty interesting fellow. One of the investors of the Titanic, who fell ill just before it launched, so he was saved. So it's not a real conspiracy. Well, it is. It's a real conspiracy, but it's not real. Like, he didn't actually do that. So his name was John Pierpont Morgan.
Okay. What a name.
He attended the ship.
Wait, JP Morgan?
He attended the ship's launch, but inevitably dodged fate, and we still know him today as JP fucking Morgan.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut her bit, but like my brain just clicked, and I had to say it.
And I really thought, like, if I said it like that, if I emphasized Pierpont, how weird that is,
because I was like, because if you have a name like that, you're gonna go by JP. Like, and he does. So, like, sorry to ruin your bit, but I caught on.
You're the worst.
Yeah.
So there were a bunch of other famous people on the Titanic. John Jacob Astor IV.
Okay. Sorry, you're gonna want to cut this part out. I'm sorry. I just totally remembered. Didn't we use JP Morgan in me and Nevina's, like, guess back thing? That we played that game where we were like, guess what we're thinking of?
Yes.
Yeah. We used
in 20 questions?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, JP Morgan was, yes.
Okay.
No, it was JG Wentworth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Same people.
Literally.
Okay.
So John Jacob Astor IV was an American business magnate, not a magnet.
Magnates.
And he was the wealthiest person on board. He took the voyage because his wife had become pregnant in Europe and they wanted their child to be born in America. Madeline Astor survived the sinking at 18 years old and 5 months pregnant, and later gave birth to a boy, John Jacob Astor VI. Which lends me to the question, where the fuck is the fifth John Jacob Astor?
Yeah.
Where are you? Anyway, maybe one of the sibling, maybe it was a father's name, and one of the siblings had a child. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's usually how it goes.
Do you imagine having not only the same name as your father, but the same name as your cousin?
Yeah, that's a little, because there's like 3 Joes in my family, but it's grandfather, father's like
right, that would make
grandson,
sense.
son. Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if there's a family that's just every single child was like all boys, all named after the one dad on one side. Like, could you imagine?
Crazy. How would you like? You'd have like 10 kids, and they'd all be John. John.
You have John, you have JJ, you have Johnny, you have.
This is
Jimmy,
just the
you have
Duggars.
Jimbo.
This is literally just the Duggars.
I don't even know what you're referencing.
You don't know the Duggars?
No. Oh,
19 Kids and Counting?
Okay, yes.
I was like, whoa.
It sounded like a movie. Like,
I mean, it kind of is.
Right?
But I was scared for a second that I was like...
No, I know. Yes, no.
Okay, 19 Kids and Counting.
It clicked.
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's a last name.
Yes.
All right.
That's crazy.
So others on the ship were Isidore and Ida Strauss, the owners of Macy's.
Talk about them.
And when both Strausses passed in the sinking, their sons took over and turned Macy's into a large public corporation. You might have also heard about Margaret Molly Brown, or the unsinkable Molly Brown. She became famous for her actions during the sinking, and she helped keep morale up among lifeboat survivors and raised money for those less fortunate, for the people who had, who sold all their money to get a ticket on this thing, and now everything's gone. She raised money before the Carpathia even docked, which we'll get into. If you don't know the Carpathia, you will in 10 minutes. No, 25 minutes.
When we get there.
When we get there. You're right. Are we there yet, Mom? So she, I want to say she raised just a shitload of money. It might have been just under 10 grand or something, that while they're on the goddamn rescue boat.
Yeah.
She's raising this money.
Yeah.
She was iconic. And actually, I think While I Laughed does a really good episode on her.
I didn't go too far into her, but I did research, because obviously to spoil some of it a bit for my episode, there's obviously characters that that represent people in real life. So I did research her a little bit.
Yes. So my plan here was to give a quick synopsis of the Titanic disaster, but then go into some new information found.
All right.
So the Titanic was launched in May of 1911. Remember when we looked this up and we were like, was it April or May?
I knew something was May, and then I knew it was April 15th that it sunk.
Yeah.
I knew that for a fact.
And I was like, it was a maiden voyage. It wasn't on the water for a year.
Yeah.
So what happened was the launch that I described earlier was the launch on May 11th to get it into the water. And then they finished building it on the water.
What?
Yeah. So everything all the bigger pieces went in once it the
so there was crew that lived on it and built it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they spent they actually were doing testing until the end of March 1912. Literally they I want to say took off, but they started going on April 10th. So literally 10 days before.
Okay.
They finished doing all their testing and everything to make sure this boat was spick and span. So it was finished on the water by the end of March 1912, and it started its maiden voyage on April 10th, 1912, where people lined up to watch their loved ones depart on the unsinkable ship, which was not supposed to be its selling point.
Yeah.
The White Star Line called it practically unsinkable once due to its enhanced safety features, but it was picked up by tabloids and unsinkable became synonymous with the Titanic. Safety features, such as the 16 bulkheads that would stop incoming water if they were compromised, 20 lifeboats rather than the 16 they were legally required to have, So everyone complained, oh, there should have been more lifeboats.
Actually,
they were
there
only
was.
legally required to have 16. And they had 20.
Wow.
Because
Okay, wait. Did you already say how many people were on it?
No.
Okay.
So 20 lifeboats.
Yeah.
So 16 lifeboats was for a ship of 10,000 tons.
Yeah.
Titanic was 46,000. So obviously they didn't do any math there.
Yeah.
But since there were no ships that big, they didn't have any guidelines for it yet.
They also didn't think it was gonna crash. They called it unsinkable.
This is true.
So they're like, yeah, we got it.
It also had a double bottom.
Yo.
I know a thing or two about double bottoms. And wireless telegraphy.
Okay.
Which spelled telegraphy. And I actually wrote telegraphy out because I knew I was going to fuck it up. That is wireless Morse code transmitting.
Dude, I can't wait for the Hidden Languages episode.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Morse code, guys.
So they had a little Morse code computer that would wirelessly transmit to other ships and to blind people.
The Navy.
Maybe.
Well, like...
did you know RMS stands for Royal Mail Ship?
I did not know that, but we were talking about... Or me and my mom were talking about ships the other day, because I saw... Okay, this is a really long story. I'm going to try to summarize it real quick. At my new job, there was like a little, like... You know those like ships in a bottle type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took a picture of it because it said HMS on it, and that's my mom's initials. And so then we were talking about ships the other day. But it was like, she told me what it was, but I already forget. But
Love that.
you can cut that part out. That was just like a little...
Okay, that was a really long story. You cut that down really nicely.
Because there was more to it, but I didn't want to talk about it.
All right. So the 16 bulkheads were a new development for the era. And now this is important. The ship would still float if 4 of these bulkheads were compromised. At the time, oh yeah, I already said that. At the time, it was mandatory for a ship over 10,000 tons to have 16 lifeboats. Weighing in at 46,000 tons, the Titanic had 20. The Titanic was not only meant to be a workhorse that could get people from point A to point B, but was also made to impress. The first class areas included a Turkish bath. Do you know what you do in a Turkish bath?
I don't know.
Well,
do I want to know?
It's nothing bad.
Okay.
It's like, I don't want to say intense, but it's just like, I was expecting, oh, it's a steam room. But it's a steam room with all these other amenities that like there's certain things that you have to do that like I don't want to say facials and stuff because I don't quite remember, but it's very much like exfoliating measures and like all this.
Like a whole pampering.
Yeah,
thing?
like
Okay.
it's intense.
Okay.
And so they had one of those.
Okay.
Which a steam room on a steam engine is kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Squash courts.
Squash.
And the first swimming pool on a cruise liner.
Wow. Okay.
The first 5 days of the voyage were a dream for the wealthy passengers. Everyone else was just trying to get to America, but only a few would make it back home. On April 14th at 9 a.m., the Titanic started to receive warnings about ice in the mid-Atlantic. Other ships were warning crews about bergs, growlers, and field ice. Which a growler is like, I looked it up and I'm pretty sure it's like a little tiny iceberg that like it makes a growling sound on the side of your ship when you go past it. Like you can't really see it. They're really hard to see on the water.
It's like flatter ice.
Yeah. Or even like it's kind of like underwater more.
Yeah.
It's like a mid-underwater iceberg. But yeah, so all these ships were telling the Titanic to slow down in case of collision. The Titanic wasn't ignoring the warnings about the ice. There was ice everywhere in the Atlantic, and someone was going to tell you about it. So allegedly, the ship, the Parisian, was in the area of the Titanic as it sank, but gave no ice warnings. They were just like, that's a big fat iceberg. So on April 14th at 11:40, the Titanic struck an iceberg, and noticing the obstacle up ahead, they tried to turn the ship to avoid the berg, but could not maneuver fast enough. Water started pouring into the bulkheads. One after another, they closed each one, but not fast enough, and water was filling the bottom half of the boat faster with every second. Panic ensued among the passengers, and the crew was ordered to remain at their post. Women and children loaded onto lifeboats, but most are barely filled before launching. Some people jump overboard into the negative 2 degrees Celsius water, thinking that they'll have an easier time surviving there, but the ship sinking makes swimming away a difficult task. After the ship sinks, lifeboats are rescued by the ship the Carpathia. The Carpathia was around 58 miles away from the Titanic. But when hearing the distress call, the captain turned the boat around. He woke up. He was woken up. They said, Titanic sinking, people dying. And he said, jump into action? You up? And he was up, dude. This is wild. I literally found this. I found most, not to be like, Reddit's a great source for your information, but a lot of people love this guy on Reddit, specifically in the page HFY, which is, I had to look it up. Okay. Humanity. Fuck yeah! Okay. So, he's a great dude. So, it was about 58 miles away from the Titanic, but when hearing the distress call, the captain turned the boat around and sped through the ice fields. So, what he did, he woke up and he diverted all the power from everything except the dining rooms, which were going to receive survivors and making hot drinks for them, in order to speed up the ship. Because it was a steam engine, everything ran off steam, so he could divert all the steam to the engine. The Carpathia was tested top speed at 14 knots. They wouldn't have gotten to the Titanic wreckage until 4 hours later. So they diverted power, and they reached 17.5 knots. They pushed that boat. Someone did the math, and it was like the amount of power they were diverting to get that speed for that boat to achieve more than 14, absolutely absurd. So it pushed 17.5 through the debris field of icebergs. This is the same place that the Titanic freaking crashed into an iceberg. Right. Which they were going 22 knots. Okay. So significantly slower, but still very fast. Ronson, the captain, ordered all lifeboats to be swung out, oil to be loaded, because apparently if you pour oil over the side of your boat, it makes the water less choppy, so lifeboats can come closer in. Okay. Pretty cool. So he got all the oil he could to the sides of the boat, and he got all the netting on the ship and threw it over the side so any swimming survivors could climb up the side.
Damn, this guy was prepared.
He was Navy locked SEAL. In. And the crazy, so in the Humanity Fuck Yeah page, the thing that they emphasized was no one asked him to do this. Yeah. There were many other ships in the area that were the Carpathia is the closest one that answered the distress call. Right. Not the closest one. So it's just thank God someone did it. Yeah. So it was supposed to take them 4 hours to get to the Titanic, but it took just under 3. Well. The Carpathia was the only ship to pick up survivors, and they saved 705 people. Wow. Crazy. Yeah. Fun little story that I didn't even write down. The Californian boat story. California boat story, question mark? Yeah. So basically there was, I didn't do very much research on it because it was a little muddy, but basically there was the SS Californian that told them, they were hey, told the Titanic, hey, there are crazy ass icebergs out there, watch out for them. And at this point, they had gotten so many warnings that whoever was on the Titanic was shut up, get off my line, I'm busy. So people wonder, because the Californian was significantly closer than the Carpathia, but did not answer the distress calls. And I'm like, that's fucking why. They were like, hey, there's a bunch of ice. And they were like, shut up, idiot. Oh, no, I crashed into the ice. Can we have some help? And the Californian was like, no. Why? Which, dick move, not gonna lie. People were dying, Kim. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are like, oh, how could they do that? Oh, well, if someone told me to shut up and get off their line, I would be a little pissy too.
Yeah.
But on this slightly suspenseful note of the ship sinking and people getting rescued, I'm going to take a moment to shift direction. Now, most people have heard the story of the Titanic before. Hits the iceberg, damages more than 4 bulkheads, and they go down. The ship sinks in an overly dramatic way. It goes straight up,
It capsizes.
and then it snaps in half, and then, it jackknifes is a new term that I learned. That a jackknife is like a folded knife.
Yeah.
Like, and so when things like, like if it's straight and then, like that's a jackknife. So the boat goes up and then jackknifes. And like, it's pretty dramatic. Like, in the movies and stuff, you're like, she moggin'. Like, that's a little too much.
Okay.
Like, calm down. That didn't really happen, girl. But it did.
She frame mogged on the ASU frat leader. Anyway.
I literally wrote, that ship was moggin', not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
So, out of 2,000... This is wild sentence structure. That ship was moggin', not gonna lie. Out of 2,208, approximately 1,600 souls were lost.
Mogging and souls lost in the same sentence is actually insane.
But yeah, so basically, out of 2,208 people, 1,600 around. Some of the reports are like 14. Some of the reports are like 1,635. But it seems to be about 1,600, not 1,000. There weren't that many people. So the Titanic sank in the middle of the ocean, and there was no way to find it. In September in 1985, an unmanned submersible located the wreckage, and since then, the wreckage has been studied by many in order to understand what truly happened that fateful night. RMS Titanic Incorporated has held 9 expeditions since the wreckage was located in an effort to recover artifacts and do imaging. These are important missions when it comes to finding out more information about the sinking. However, there's a common belief that the Titanic is a gravesite for many and it should not be disturbed. This became a much more mainstream idea when the Titan, a submersible, visited the site for amusement and met a fate similar to those on the Titanic.
I think the whole idea of the Titanic is just beyond cursed.
Yeah.
At this point, I think we should...
That's the new Bermuda Triangle.
No, exactly. Like, we should just leave it alone.
So,
also, I know you're going to get into the Titan more, but I have commentary on that thing. So
it wouldn't be a real Titanic episode if we didn't talk about the Titan.
Yeah.
Or I actually wrote OceanGate.
Yeah.
Because OceanGate is... I watched the Titan submersible documentary. It was a lot. I didn't take notes on it because it was a lot.
Yeah.
So Stockton Rush was an odd fellow, but with the first name like Stockton, do you have the option to be normal?
No.
Obsessed with the Titanic, he married the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Strauss.
Okay, like, that's obsession level.
That's like a fetish.
No, that's like, yeah.
That's like gross.
You like boats that much, bro?
He loves boats. He loves a double bottom.
You know what? This poor girl, like...
Right. So... He began a submersible company called OceanGate in 2009.
2009, wow.
Yeah, he was an aerospace engineer and an entrepreneur. He acquired one submersible named Antipodes and built another, Titan. In 2021, he started a touring business of the Titanic wreckage, where people could pay to view the wreckage live within the Titan from your one tiny little porthole that you're sharing with 7 other people because that's so fucking worth it.
Yep. When you have money, just blow. I mean,
no, literally, it's giving like if if Katy Perry imploded on the fucking Blue Origin flight, it gives the same vibe.
No, when they did that, that's what people were like comparing it to. Obviously, yeah. It's like, oh, just people who have money to burn a hole in their pocket. Like,
no, literally. That smells so tasty.
Want to try it?
No, I'm all set. I'd eat it. I'm
Pretty
so
good.
hungry.
We could have had dinner before this.
No, that's okay. I ate an egg before I came.
I had 2 eggs today.
Yay!
I've been making an egg tally.
When you're so broke that you start eating healthy because all you have is egg.
Yeah, I have like SpaghettiOs and
Okay. We went shopping today. We have some food.
Okay.
But man, do I feel like that Mariah Carey picture? Skinny legend.
Yeah.
So back to Stockton Rush, because he's a skinny legend now.
Whoa.
He has much less body mass. So anyway, he was an aerospace engineer. Oh, I already said that.
Yeah.
We
don't care about him.
All right. So they're gonna view the wreckage. Pay to view the wreckage live. One problem. Stockton built the Titan out of carbon fiber. He was an engineer and always wanting to make things more efficient, cost-effective, and easy. However, carbon fiber was not regulated for deep-sea dives. There was no data on how well it could withstand deep-sea pressures. I would like to believe Stockton's thought process was something like this. Well, I'm an engineer. I'll do it, and I'll gather the data and prove how awesome it is, because I'm doing it. On his first few dives, he barely reached depths similar to the Titanic wreckage. Each dive was halted when the hull of the submersible would creak and groan, and it was only halted when everyone in the submersible was uncomfortable with the noises.
Oh my god.
So there would be 3 people in the submersible, and they'd start going down, and then it would go... And then Stockton, who would be driving the thing and with his Logitech controller,
no, literally,
he'd turn around to his crew members and he'd go, "Yeah, that was a weird noise. You guys good?" And they'd say yes or no. And then another noise happens. They get 500 feet deeper. Another noise happens. "You guys good? I want to see my kids tonight." That was like literally one of the testimonials. He was like, I kind of want to go home tonight.
Oh my god. So yeah, then maybe we should have stopped it then, but it's fine.
So Stockton reframed his carbon fiber hull approach. The effectiveness with a carbon fiber hull is the need to replace it every few dives. Because then you have like a brand new hull. Like you have a brand new thing to destroy.
Yeah, okay.
So his employees were uncomfortable at this point. And there was even one woman who brought the dangers to the attention of higher ups and was brushed off for not being a team player or a creative mind. I think they said something like, well, if you don't have like an inventive mind, you need to have an inventive mind at this company. Stockton only needs the most creative people who are willing to be creative. Really, really weird.
That's stupid.
So Stockton pressed on and decided to get some media attention. He reached out. I had to look this up because I was like, did they reach out or did he reach out? Stockton Rush. Fucking fake name.
No, it sounds, yeah.
Reached out to Expedition Unknown, an adventure show featuring the host Josh Gates.
No, I love him.
Josh Gates, we're in love with you. And
please.
Can we go on an adventure with you, please?
Please. I just remember every single night during lockdown coming into the living room and him being on the TV.
Yes.
My dad was watching him every night.
Yes, as you should be.
Yeah.
I feel like we all got really into the expedition shows during COVID.
Yeah.
We were like, I want to go outside.
No, literally.
So I have this little note about Josh Gates. I loved the show as a kid, and honestly, it was one of which, this is kind of sad, but it's also kind of a testament to how much better we're getting. It was honestly one of the only things that exposed me to other cultures.
Yeah. True.
Because Josh Gates would go into a community and be absorbed in the culture, and then also try to find the fucking chupacabra or something. That and Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmerman.
I was literally just going to say the exact same thing.
The only reason I know what a durian is.
Yup, like literally the only reason I can like see other cultures when I was a child.
Literally. So in 2021, Josh Gates went to OceanGate to tour the submersible, but called everything off when finding out how lax in safety the company was. Gates was pretty fired up about this in the documentary, and like honestly go watch his parts because they're great.
Okay.
He was pissed off because he was like, I'm not going to put my crew at risk.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous and this is stupid, and like, yeah.
Especially, if he's saying that too.
You could see from the tour footage how astounded Gates was at Stockton's hubris. The thing that gets me about the Titan disaster is how OceanGate was so not profitable that they couldn't hire their crew. They couldn't hire a crew for the expeditions, so they made their passengers crew members with genuine roles and no training.
Oh my God. For
$250,000, you could be a crew member on an extremely dangerous trip to the ocean floor. So on June 18th, 2023, with 5 people on board, the Titan imploded and made major media headlines. And that's where I'll stop on the Titan, because if you want to hear more, I'll be putting a Patreon episode together that will highlight submersibles specifically. But just know it'll be ridiculous. And there may be some slander on a famous director. But unethical Titanic quests aside, let's get back to the cool stuff. So the RMS Titanic Inc., which seems to be just like the research crew that is in charge of the Titanic, has put multiple submersible trips to the Titanic wreckage in an effort to map the area and retrieve artifacts. All these expeditions are hella cool, but the most recent one is awe-inspiring. The RMS Titanic Inc. team sent down 2 remote submersibles to image the wreckage. The 2 drones were named Romeo and Juliet. Wrong DiCaprio movie. Romeo did video and imaging of the seafloor and the debris field, while Juliet scanned the wreckage of the ship. It took the team 2 full years to collect the data, and it ended up being 700,000 images and 16 terabytes of data. That's 16,000 gigabytes of data.
And your phone has like what? Like iPhones can get up to like 256 gigabytes? Isn't that?
I think so.
Right? So that's like how many iPhones?
Yeah. Right?
Literally.
16,000 times 250 or
divided by?
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of iPhones.
A lot of iPhones. See, people like to measure stuff in Titanics.
Yeah.
And now we're measuring stuff on iPhones.
No, now I actually want to do the math real quick. Just for 2 seconds. You said 116,000? Or just 16,000?
16,000.
Just 16,000.
Yeah.
Divided by 2. I think you can do 256. That'd be 62 iPhones. That's actually not that many.
All right.
But it's still a lot of data.
So what this data could be used for, you may be asking? To create a full-size replica of the Titanic on a soundstage with LED screens so scientists and historians can walk among the wreckage.
No, that's so cool.
And these historians are super respectful as well. One said, I view the shipwreck as the last survivor, and that their goal was to study from a respectful distance.
Oh,
so
nice.
Their real goal was to learn about the Titanic not from the survivors or the artifacts, but the crew and the crew's final moments. They used data they collected to create a simulation of impact, and they mapped where things landed on the seafloor and tied it back to how the ship split in 2. The conclusions they could draw from all this information are absolutely amazing, and I gotta geek about it. So to start, it's been known that the stern sits roughly 1/3 of a mile from the bow on the seafloor. That's a lot of distance.
Right? 1/3 of a mile.
1/3 of a mile.
Crazy.
So they discovered this.
Right. So, okay, wait. I'm definitely interrupting all your stuff.
No, you're good.
But do they have like a blueprint of the ship when they like were creating it from way back then? Like, do they have
so they have very limited stuff, like, from what I can tell. I mean, if you Google it, you can get like the Britannica and the Olympic, which are the sister ships, which are very similar, but not quite the same. Yeah. But there's not very detailed stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure, I mean, preserving all, they probably didn't like keep the records intact and everything, and I'm sure what they had was on the ship as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so the bow was affected by the iceberg, so it started to sink first, and then the stern raised in the air, causing the image that pops into your head of people hanging off the stern hundreds of feet in the air. And then the ship had to snap. The pressure from the stern in the air caused 20% of the ship to crumple, which was 70 to 80 feet. Yeah. And they actually could reconstruct the broken pieces of the Titanic from the debris in the debris field.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, this is a piece of the hull and it would go here. And this is another piece of the hull and it would go here. And like, very interesting.
That's so cool. Like, I wish my brain worked like that I could like understand things like that and be like, oh, that's like a giant 3D puzzle.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
That's so crazy.
So the middle section of the ship can only be pieced together by all those little fragments. And the bow, now mostly underwater, sank to the floor with great speed because it was just and crashed into the mud of the ocean floor, which it's a problem, and we'll get into that. The stern slowly disappeared into the water as it kind of went, and then it started to spiral as it went down, creating the distance between. So the
that's crazy how they like know exactly how it like.
Yeah,
like,
from like
they've modeled it
right from the positioning and like from the simulations and stuff. Like it's just crazy. So the spiral created the third of a mile distance, but the bow hitting the mud was a problem for researchers because the entire impact zone, the spot that the iceberg hit the ship, was now buried, and they couldn't unbury it. So they had to reassess how to map the impact, and that was through simulation. They simulated the crash with the speed at the time, which was 22 knots, and the size of the iceberg, as well as taking into account the turn that the ship made. According to this simulation, it was a 6.3 second collision time, with 18 square feet of damage to the hull. This ship was 883 feet long. It got 18 feet of damage on one side of it. So the massive scrape down the side of it apparently felt like a close shave to those on board. But the berg damaged 6 bulkheads. Remember earlier I said that they could close 4 bulkheads and still float? Well, the 2 bulkheads on either end of the impact zone only had minimal damage, and combined, it was the size of 2 pieces of paper.
Oh my gosh.
So there were 6 compartments. The 4 in the middle were pretty fucked. The one in the front and the one on the end each had a hole the size of a piece of paper. And that
8.5 by 11.
Yeah. So if those 2 holes hadn't been there, they could have closed those 4 compartments and they would have stayed afloat.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So 2 pieces of paper sank the Titanic. So
you could equate that to money. You could like eventually then say that's money. So,
yeah.
Like
Yeah. So there was a theory that if the crew hit the iceberg head on, they would have only damaged 4 compartments. And when running the simulation, this was true.
Wow.
So if they hadn't turned, they would have crumpled the entire front of the ship, but only 4 compartments would have been damaged. But the problem with this, it would have damaged all of the crew cabins. And since it was nighttime, all of the crew was sleeping. So obviously you'd mutilate a fair amount of your crew that now you don't have to get to the next destination.
Right, to help you, yeah.
And then watertight doors would have also had to shut. And that would have shut on people. And then you would have just had people drowned behind the door. And that wouldn't have been good. So this would have killed most of their crew and made the rest of the voyage extremely difficult. And it poses a utilitarian question. Yes, the ship would have stayed afloat, but you'd kill who was keeping it afloat otherwise. So, although the ship was doomed, and Chief Engineer Joseph Bell knew this, chances were even slimmer if he left his post. Bell kept the boiler rooms still running because without power and light, more people were in danger. As water filled the ship, the boiler room crews were pushed into further boiler rooms because the boiler rooms were actively filling up with water as they're shoveling more coal into the furnaces. So an hour and 40 minutes, Chief Bell sent his crew to the upper decks to save themselves. 35 engineering officers stayed below decks, keeping the boilers running and the power on. Bell manually turned on the generators, keeping power running longer, and this is evident in the imaging they took with Romeo and Juliet. There's a steam valve that had settled after impact in an open position, and this was directly connected to the generators. So it's direct proof that Bell spent the entire time making sure whoever could be saved was. Survivors have told stories of drifting away from the ship with the twinkling lights still on in the distance. Often this was questioned for validity, but now it's confirmed that 2 whole hours after impact, the lights were on. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, until the ship was underwater, the lights were on.
Wow.
Like, yeah, crazy. So Bell was a figure that had been forgotten after all these years, but there were a few that their legacy had been speculated on. First Officer William Murdoch was said by survivors to be helping people onto lifeboats. Meanwhile, newspapers claimed he had shot himself on deck.
Nope.
There was literally a story that was just like, coward captain kills himself to escape sinking. So Officer Lightoller, a survivor, said that Murdoch was swept overboard by a wave, and the imaging could lend to the story. The davit at Murdoch's station was in an upright position. So you have a lifeboat, and then the thing that lifts the lifeboat and plops it in the water is called a davit. So because it was in the upright position, it means he was actively releasing lifeboats when something caused him to stop. And at 2:15 a.m., Murdoch launched his final lifeboat and was swept away by a wave. Justice for Murdoch. We've cleared his name.
We InfoDump single-handedly cleared his name.
Oh, the RMS Titanic Incorporated. They did it, not me. But on a less heroic note, Bruce Ismay, the managing director of the White Star Line at the time, he was not for very long after, shoved his way onto a lifeboat. And he survived, but his reputation didn't.
Yeah.
So there's one more person that is interesting to highlight. Benjamin Guggenheim. Yeah, Benjamin Guggenheim. He got his mistress on a lifeboat and went right back to first class, allegedly putting on his best suit and saying, "We've dressed up in our best and are prepared to go down like gentlemen." However, his first class suite was directly in the breakage zone that crumpled when the stern fell. So where the ship split in two, it probably wasn't as peaceful as he hoped in his Sunday best.
Yikes.
So, yeah. So souls were lost in the Titanic, and only 337 bodies were ever recovered. And many personal effects were also never recovered and are still on the ocean floor. The debris field from the expedition was able to be analyzed, and through records and insurance claims, they've been able to identify certain people's belongings that still lay 1,200 feet below sea level.
Wow.
Crazy. I remember seeing, it was like, oh, they located who was the owner of this specific suitcase.
Wow.
Like, yeah, like crazy stuff.
And I'm assuming like that suitcase is like in a like
it's still on the ocean floor.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't touch it, right? I forgot.
Yeah. They have brought a lot of artifacts up.
Yeah.
But like, because there was one that was like they have all this stuff on their website that's like, oh, this expedition, what we did, what we brought up. And there's some that are like, oh, 50 artifacts recovered. And then there was one that was like 1,200 artifacts recovered. And I was like, what did you grab? Like, it must be like change or something.
Yeah.
Like 1,200 pennies. Like, that would make sense.
That's why the pennies are useless now. They're on the Titanic.
You're so right. Is this Outer Banks, but Titanic?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to find the gold.
Yeah,
in
literally.
the boat? I never finished that.
Oh, come on. When season 5 comes out,
They're still making it?
they have one more season. There's one more season.
They're still making Outer Banks, guys.
I'm pretty sure there's one more season, yeah.
So I genuinely urge you to check out the documentary Titanic, The Digital Resurrection, because that's where I got most of this information from, as well as the RMS Titanic Incorporated website, and then more links to follow. But yeah, so the way these researchers handle the wreckage and the gravesite of so many people with poise and grace, they truly want to understand the tragedy while respecting those who lost their lives. So yeah, that was my little think piece on, the digital resurrection of the Titanic.
Yeah, no.
Pretty freaking cool.
Titanic's crazy.
It's just wild.
Yeah.
I wanted to go, I would have loved to go more into, the actual sinking itself, but it's just, everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
So it's okay, at least the digital resurrection, it's newer, I think the documentary came out last year. And
yeah.
And so it's very good.
Right, yeah.
That and the Titan documentary, honestly, just watch the Josh Gates part. That one's... Josh Gates, hit me up.
Whoa.
We're leaving that in, and I'm sending this to Josh Gates directly.
Hey, I would love to interview him. That would be so cool.
Could you? Oh my God, could you?
We do an Expedition Unknown interview InfoDump? Yeah. Well, our first interview is Punxsutawney Phil. We already
Expedition Unknown, Josh Gates' mind.
Yo, that's actually kind of good.
Josh Gates hit us up.
No,
we want
actually...
to talk to you.
Yeah.
Do we just inhale too much seawater and now we're boats?
I worked at a yacht club for 2 years.
Boats.
I'm obsessed now.
Right? We just love our boats. What's your favorite kind of boat?
I like a dinghy. It's not really like a boat, but it's like a vet. It goes on water.
Yeah, no, it's a boat.
Dinghy,
it's a boat.
Right? I don't know I don't know the official term for what a boat versus a sailboat versus a ship.
Right, because
a yacht.
I have to say my favorite is a pontoon.
Okay.
Or a catamaran.
Okay. I've heard of these. I don't know if I know the picture.
So a pontoon, you've got two air skis kind of.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then your boat's on top.
Yeah.
And those are fun. And then what was the other word that I just said? Catamaran?
Yeah.
I think that's very similar to a pontoon. But I can't promise it. Because I went on a catamaran and I thought it was a pontoon.
Okay, wait. Are boats only ones with motors, or could technically a kayak be a boat?
Yeah, a kayak is absolutely a boat.
Okay. I didn't know if that... I don't know the definition.
I would go as far to say a paddleboard is a boat. This is is a hot dog a sandwich.
Is a surfboard a boat?
I mean, if a you know what? Because a motorboat, a speedboat. I can't disagree because the speed doesn't have anything to do with it, and the fact that it has a motor, a surfboard is a boat.
Is it a hot dog? Is it a hot dog?
Is a surfboard a hot dog?
A surfboard. Okay, so are rafts? Anything that floats, is that's right. A boat?
Yeah, I would call it a boat.
Anything that floats is a boat.
I mean, anything that
so I'm
can
a boat.
Transport anything that floats and transports a person.
So
is the rule.
So yeah,
that effectively that can reliably transport a person.
I'm gonna look at the official definition.
That's my definition.
Okay, no, I want to know what
reliably transport a person. Would be
when I can't even spell boat, guys. That
would negate your pool floaties.
Right, I'm thinking
but it would still include your kayaks.
Okay, right. Ready? A boat is a watercraft of a large range of types and sizes, but generally smaller than a ship. So ships and boats are two very different things, which is distinguished by blah, 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 blah.
But I feel a boat is a ship, but a ship's not a boat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Small boats are typically used on inland waterways such as rivers and lakes or protected coastal areas. However, some boats, such as whale boats, are intended for offshore use. Or in modern naval terms, a boat is a vessel small enough to be carried aboard a ship.
Oh.
Boats vary in proportion.
I don't like that definition.
Boats vary in proportion and construction methods with their intended purpose and available materials or local traditions. Canoes have been used since prehistoric times and remain in use for fishing and transport. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Boats can be propelled by manpower, rowboats or paddle boats, wind, sailboats, outboard motors, including gasoline, diesel, and electric. So yeah, it's literally, propelled by manpower. Or like anything that can be propelled by manpower, gas, diesel, electric, or wind. So
right, it do be anything that floats.
Types, yeah. Unpowered,
right, I don't like
powered.
the distinction between ships and boats. I'm gonna choose to ignore that for my own purposes. So a boat.
Submarines are also technically boats.
I think no.
It says a number of large vessels are usually referred to as boats. Submarines are a prime example.
It's like saying a salad is a sandwich because it has croutons on it.
Exactly. So now we're doing an episode about how to distinct, is this a boat, a ship, or a submarine?
No, literally, like
a submarine sandwich.
You're not wrong.
Come on now.
Where's Grinders? Come on. But
what's the difference between a hoagie and a submarine sandwich? Just kidding. Anyway,
one will let me hoagie. One you can't submarine.
Pea soup.
Yep. We said that during our last episode.
Did we?
Yeah, we said that joke. It was so bad. It was awful. I cut it out. It was bad.
Yeah. Pleasure craft, recreational boating includes ski boats, pontoon boats, sailboats, houseboats. Dude, like lifeboats. Yeah, there's okay, so a boat. Yeah, it's literally okay. So what's the definition of a ship, guys? I'm sorry, I'm derailing this, but I need to know.
Okay, I gotta open up my computer again. I have
a ship is a large watercraft designed for travel across large body of waters, carrying cargo or passengers. So it's more for big scale operations. So yeah, you're right. It's like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is no square.
Right.
Like it's like
right because a ship is a boat. Yeah. Because it floats on water. Yeah. It's propelled by manpower or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a boat. But a boat. It's not a ship. Or a ship is not a ship is a boat.
A ship is a boat, but a boat is not a ship.
Does not automatically mean it's a ship.
Yes,
that's the
a ship is the idea that it ships things or people. Well, that's my conclusion on it.
Okay, interesting.
Because it's travels across surfaces of bodies of water, carrying cargo or passengers. Like it's for like bigger scale operations than just like me and my buddy on a kayak.
Okay, hold on. I just have to make something real quick. We can keep doing a bit here. I don't care, but this is really important and I have to show you in real time.
Okay. So now so I obviously know what a submarine is, but now I need to know because submarines can technically be boats. But I feel like if it's enclosed, it can't be a boat. I feel like boats are open topped. Correct?
No, because a houseboat.
The fuck's a houseboat?
A boat with a house on it.
Huh?
A boat with a house on it.
A boat with a house? I'm looking that up.
You've never seen someone live on a boat?
Well, I've seen people live in boats.
The Always Sunny in Philly episode that they buy a houseboat?
You can live, yeah, but it's there's also a top, you can go up onto the deck, is what I'm getting at. It's like a submarine to me in my brain. It's completely enclosed.
I get what you're getting.
I literally, when you said houseboat, I'm picturing a house, like a literal house on a boat. That's why I was like, what are you talking about? But no, I'm thinking a submarine is fully, you can't get to the top of it at all. It's not, you get into it and you're fully enclosed.
Right.
Submarines are a naval vessel that operate on both above and below the water surface. Submarines can, obviously we know this, but they can be remotely operated, which regular boats don't really need to, can't really do that. So hold up now.
April 11th is National Submarine Day.
That's crazy.
I hate my life.
That's crazy.
All right, I just spent all this time making this.
Okay.
And I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, true.
A boat alignment chart.
No, true. Post that to the IDump.
Yes. I'm so proud of it.
No, that's good. No, yeah.
I had a couple of them in different spots. That was the last minute changes I was doing, but I'm like, this works perfectly.
No, that's perfect. Yes.
Yeah, that's getting posted.
All right, bet.
Gonna email it to myself.
Gonna email it to
or
myself.
upload it to the drive. That's a better idea. And then we can fuck off.
Well, thank you for telling us about the Titanic.
Hell yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
I had a fun time researching it.
Right?
Pretty cool documentaries to watch. So.
Right? And then tune in for next week because I'm going to talk about the film. I got some tidbits on the actual production, some of the actors, some of the behind the scenes stuff, and then Maddie's one and only favorite director.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him.
Oh yes.
But I have to say whatever I say about him behind a paywall.
Yes. No, I'm going to briefly talk about him, but we'll keep the juicy part for the Patreon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because we have some no complaints about the Titanic movie. Complaints about every other one. Every other movie.
Yeah.
Complaints.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, check us out on our socials and stuff. iDumpster posts.
iDumpster posts, InfoDump.
InfoDump. Everywhere.
InfoDump podcast. We're usually, either InfoDump podcast, InfoDump. I think we're InfoDump posts on Twitter.
I believe that.
TikTok, I think we're InfoDump podcast or maybe InfoDump pod. Our email for any business inquiries or if you want to send us an episode idea, we're at idumppod@gmail. So, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Yeah. And check out our info drops coming out
new thing.
On Mondays.
First Monday of every month, we're going to do a 30-minute audio only little tidbit story that it's a little bit too short for a full-length episode, but we also don't want to just not talk about it. So we're just going to do a little audio for those ones. So stay tuned for those. We'll see you in the next one.